Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 13th. It's not a Friday the 13th, but no need. As we talked about when we came back through from the basing here, once we got above that 50%, it's just been the push all the way back towards, well, I said how many years ago? 4,000 was the target, and we still continue to inch closer despite the pandemic, despite all of the reasons that some people have for why it shouldn't happen, but they really just don't understand the economics behind it and what's taking place, and that it could accelerate quite quickly should things go back to normal, which is an interesting side effect because the market is always going to discount for inflation, and that's exactly what it's preparing for within this structure. Now, if that changes, then we could see a whole revisit of where we would need to go. But for now, this is where we're at. And again, rising shakeout. We've had this with the Power Mode 2. In fact, we look at that at the ES again. That Power Mode 2 straight up. We ended up with the big separation, which we talked about. We came back to it right there, and then we began a new round of expansion within that. So that should continue along. And some people are saying it's because the market feels that Biden's going to be winning, and that I don't necessarily believe that's the case as much as just the market recognizes that whoever wins, there's going to be more stimulus coming and more effort to revive normalized growth. So it's going to be more money, which from the market standpoint means bigger profits. From a euro standpoint, it's pretty much just flatlining at this particular stage. The euro's fighting back. They don't want the devaluation that's been going on, so it's a constant battle, and the politics involved in that is still relatively artificially high given what the EU is producing relative to the US. Certainly not even close. From a gold standpoint, again, like we talked about, this is going to be the beginning of that slow, steady rise. We're already seeing shakeout moving to a positive here. We've already had the Power Mode 2 moved into a buy from a little while ago, but just kind of stayed flat here from a momentum standpoint. And then we saw the separation right there of the magenta green, and that's maintaining itself. It should push towards the 50% mark from that standpoint. Intraday pretty much says it all. There just wasn't a whole lot to do. Once it started, brief short signals all had full DOC steel resets to them, and no real cave of red DOC. In fact, as soon as the DOC dropped below zero, you ended up with cyan under red. So you would just flip to an all-around buy, and it just from there took off, and it was just a monster. Of course, within that, positive extremes develop, beginning right about here at the 3505. Might as well just mark that while we're here. Just like so. And so from there, we can begin to get all the different setup levels. Next most likely one right here, around 35.19 range, 35.20ish. So, and then obviously the second set's much higher up, and those have already been filled back in at later part of the day, because we ended up with a much cleaner DOC where we started to get some rise. Stayed in between. It still was fighting it for quite a while because you really weren't getting a strong spike. What you had though was the full Power Mode 2 reset coming all the way back down, and zero. Morganacci rising, which called price to it. Once it hit at a pretty decent level. I mean, all the way up here, which just filled positive extremes back to there. Post-market, we came back and filled a little bit. That only leaves this final set down at the bottom. Came very close to it in post-market, and that's just how beautiful it is with these reset fills. It's just a matter of waiting for it, and eventually it gets there. And so we've popped back up. So even after having reset DOCs as well as Power Mode 2s, pretty close to where the highs were anyway. So all in all, good shape. And we'll continue to follow that. If there's anything new and interesting, I will certainly put it up there. And we'll continue to just adjust some of the details that I'm doing on the Power Mode 2 for inside the PNT, the paint bar here. So as I add those in there, I will certainly send out any updates. As always though, trade well, talk to you later.